What do you get when you cross a know-it-all newspaper columnist with an awkward, unsophisticated everyman?
Yeah. Well, I'm just not sure about that right now.
Welcome to Couch and the Roo.
Welcome to Couch and the Roo, presented by Skymint Premium Cannabis, inspiring people to look better, love better, be better, feel better every damn day of their lives. And our Tuesday night show, brought to you by our friends at Cask & Company Kitchen and Bar in Front 43 Neighborhood Pub. If you're looking for a place to watch the games, just hang out, happy hour, whatever it might be, Front 43 and Cask & Company, two restaurants, one great menu, just north of Frandor on East Saginaw and Lansing, near the Lansing and East Lansing border. Jason, how you doing, man?
Listen, I don't know if the Skymint is hit yet, but you're in studio.
Yeah, I am.
Mean, I don't know, like, COVID protocols, but the last one we did, you were not in studio, so.
Yeah, we're creating our own COVID. No, I'm kidding. We're not doing that. We're not.
Graham goes, I'm going to stop. Don't worry, I'll stay away from you. I was like, promise?
So, yeah.
That's good to have you in here.
Yeah.
We're separated anyway.
I mean, per the CDC, I'm on day 6, right? And
yeah, let's loosen the COVID rules.
And
whatever.
And I took a negative COVID test. And we're also I'm in a bubble. So I'm separated from you quite a bit. I don't know that I would yet go into like a packed restaurant, just to be safe, but I'll take a few more COVID tests before I rejoin
all right.
Rejoin side. But I feel fantastic. Haven't taken any medicine and feel 100%. So that's
Can we talk
good.
about, I know we're going to have Harry on, but the gambling loss, well, it wasn't a loss. I had a push last night. And you know what pisses me off about a push? Dabo Sweeney running the hurry up for the freshman quarterback. Like, I understand what he was doing, but really, you couldn't kneel that bad boy out. I mean, right underneath that under. I thought the number was high enough last night at 51. I was like, perfect. And that game was dreadful. And I had to sit through 4 hours of that shit for a push.
I did one of those things where you bet like $10 on like 10 things to happen. Not even that. It was like 5 things to happen and it pays 50. Yeah, and I got it all right except for one. I don't know what I was thinking. One of their running backs who's like their captain, but he never runs the ball. Didn't even run the ball once last night. He was in there a little bit. He had to have like 35 yards, and that was like at minus 400 and it didn't even happen. Like, what am I doing? Stop doing that. That's not.
So you're doing one-game parlays that
I was just
amount to minus 400?
It was just no. It was a one-game parlay that paid 50 off $10.
Okay.
But that particular part of it was like minus 400. It was way down on a guy to get. Anyway, it was just stupid. It was just dumb. I just wanted to have a little action on it.
Hopefully, week 2 we can shake some shit out here because week 1
it was bad. It was bad. I do think that, and we'll get into this with Harry in a little bit. We're also going to have Nick Baumgardner from The Athletic on. We'll talk Michigan State, Michigan, and the Lions with him here in just a few minutes. And
so is the news official now with the injuries?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
It'll be very curious to see if Xavier Henderson comes back this year. When Mel Tucker was asked about surgery, he said, we'll have to wait and see how treatment goes. I don't know what that means. Meniscus. I don't know what meniscus usually is a quick surgery. I don't know what that means. Mel Tucker calls everybody sore. Like, I know what sore is. Sore. Most of these guys aren't sore. They're hurt.
Right.
Like, if you're not out for the year, you're sore.
Sore's at like 43 years old and you wake up.
Right. Sore's like,
sore.
I forgot to put the pillow between my legs last night when I slept. I'm sore. Like that's. By the way, pro tip as you get older: pillow between the legs, pillow under the knees if you're laying on your back.
It's a must.
Oh, got to do it.
Yep.
Got to do it.
I can't sleep without it.
Yeah, me neither. No, not only
Jesus, we're so old.
I would think about it. It would be in my head.
I got literally kind of excited when you talked about a pillow in between the legs. Like, oh God, I hate getting old.
I like my pillow so much for the way it feels on my shoulders and neck and back.
I have 7 pillows on the bed. Like, Treese absolutely hates it, but I'm like, well, how can you hate pillows? It's just comfort.
I take mine to hotels if I'm not flying, if I'm driving.
You almost have to because some hotels you stay at. I mean,
this sucks.
Yeah,
yeah.
The pillows aren't great.
No, a bad pillow ruins a night. So you can't do that. We're open to a pillow sponsor, by the way. Apparently,
My Pillow.
I don't know about that guy, but just about anybody else. Actually, we would be very very specific in the pillows that we demanded. No, but I do think, and obviously Darius Snow's out, and all that stuff is going to play out over time. I think it's good that it's not good when they got hurt in the sense that it tests your depth early, and now you're likely to have more injuries at some point, and you've already lost two guys who are pretty critical members of your secondary or defense. In terms of the opponent that's next, I think it's good that you have somebody where you're going to have to learn to play without them who's not going to test you, because Akron's not going to test him. And we talk about gambling things, like the line has actually moved towards Akron. MSU is minus 34. They were minus 34.5 before this. I don't see how this Akron team's competitive. And if Michigan State, and the only way Akron, I think, covers this spread is if it's a backdoor cover, which could happen. I mean, Michigan State could be up 42-0, 42-3, and basically call them off and then give up a late score. That stuff happens. So it's not, there's always that danger in that sort of game. But
this team had to go to OT with St. Francis.
No doubt.
I want to hear this.
And what people need to understand is there are different levels at the 1AA thing. St. Francis is not what Iowa faced, for example. That's just different, and it's not what Nebraska faced or anything like that. It's just not the same deal. What I'm curious to see about Michigan State this week is, do they sort of take out I don't want to say frustration's the right word, but the sense among themselves that they didn't fully play to their potential? Do they take that out on Akron? And do they play with a focus that they're not playing the opponent, that they're playing themselves, and sort of try to get the best out of themselves? I mean, there were things about last week that were really, really promising for Michigan State, and then there were things that were a little bit concerning. And the concerning things, one, were in the second half for a bit when they looked a little on their heels, a little out of breath, and that's Mel Tucker was really annoyed in his press conference saying it's East Lansing in September. There's no excuse for cramping. Now, it gets freaking hot up here, man. I mean, it wasn't that hot that night. It wasn't awful that night. But to his point, what made last season, partly what turned last season and started last season on the road it went, was that game at Miami. When they went down there and, as he called it, the deep water and the humidity and the heat, and they just suffocated Miami. They were just better. They were in better condition, and they finished the job. Like that sort of thing, that when you see them not look like that against Western Michigan, when you see the cramping, I think that's a little bit of a concern. And then, you don't need Peyton Thorne to be sharp to beat Akron. You don't need
he could be left-handed this whole game. Like, come on.
All
we're talking about is covering the spread. Why didn't we have an Akron Zips writer on?
Because I don't think there is one.
That's what I mean. Let's try to find one. What's the Los Monterez of Akron?
But beyond that, but you don't need that. But you want, like Michigan State's got to have that. They've got to have, Michigan State's got to play themselves and not the opponent. Like some of the things that weren't sharp last week, they should look to overwhelm an opponent. Those sort of things you should want to see. Yeah, no, I would.
Thorne could be drawing up plays in the huddle, like on the ground, like old school football. This Keon Coleman, go straight. I'll throw it up in the air for you.
They used to have a beat writer. They used to have multiple beat. I remember being in a press box at an Akron Western football game with lots of writers in like 2006.
Was that a big year for Akron?
It was still old Rubber Bowl before their new stadium. No, it's just well, the Akron Beacon Journal is a decent publication, and there are other things, but it was and it's the heart of the MAC country. They cover the MAC pretty well, and it was an important game late. I think partly why
you speak so highly of someone that now we have Nick Baumgartner on. Could have had an Akron Zip on.
But yeah, but we get Michigan State, Michigan, and the Lions. Well, I want the Lions. But,
I like Nick. I'm just saying.
Nick knows football.
We just kind of, we usually try to have someone on from the opposing team during the week, and you just kind of, Akron wasn't mentioned.
They were. They were not.
People wouldn't tune in.
Akron was not mentioned in Mel Tucker's press conference. That's how
disrespect. Now that's bulletin board material for the Zips.
I'm not sure they can do anything with the bulletin board. Like if you put, look, you can put me next to Usain Bolt and say this guy said something mean about your mom. It doesn't mean I can catch him. You know what I mean? Like there's only so much you can do.
I could compete for the first meet or so. I think I could compete. But I'm saying, like, what do you do if you're the head coach, though, if you go in and you're, like, that big of an underdog, especially against some other teams or something? Like, you put stuff on the bulletin board? Like,
no, I think the thing you want to do is you want to see the same thing. You want to see your team playing against themselves, competing to their best level, and trying to get out of there feeling decent about themselves. Because for Michigan State and Akron, feeling good about yourself after this game are two very different things. Akron has something they need to get out of this game to feel decent. Michigan State, I think there are things that they need to get out of it, and a lot of it is to overwhelm an opponent, but to look crisp, to have the passing game look crisp. They're going to get challenged. If you've seen that Washington game against Kent State, Washington, that's going to be a tough game. Michigan State needs to make sure they're right and as good as they can be and ready to go for that. Let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll have Nick Baumgartner on. We'll talk about it here. Couch in the Rube, presented by Skyman Premium Cannabis and Front 43 and Cask and Company.
If you're looking for a relaxed vibe, great food, and an outstanding beer selection, Midtown Brewing Company in downtown Lansing is your place. Enjoy their famed chicken and waffle fries, fish and chips, or any of their delicious burgers or salads. Midtown Brewing Company also offers 40-plus beers on tap, including ciders and seasonal offerings and daily happy hour specials. The spacious and cozy vibe makes Midtown Brewing Company a perfect place for a beer with a friend, a work lunch, or to watch the games on its big screen TVs. If you'd rather eat at home, Midtown Brewing Company offers a terrific carryout menu and free delivery on orders of $20 or more. Visit MidtownBrewingCompany.net or stop by 402 South Washington in downtown Lansing for the Midtown Brewing Company experience.
Find Couch in the Rube podcasts on Spreaker, iTunes, iHeartRadio, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Google Podcasts, CastBox, and the Rube's favorite podcast addict.
It's time now for our Couch of the Rube interview of the week, presented by Hopcat. Hopcat, the best damn beer bar, known for its world-famous cosmic fries, mouth-watering, award-winning burgers, Michigan's finest selection of local craft beer. Something I like that they do really well at all their locations, as they have a local feel to wherever they are. If you go to the one in East Lansing, you know it. You know the local brews from around Michigan. Each location, carefully curated craft beer featuring its local partners, tons of TVs to watch the game and grab a pint with friends. Very pleased now to be joined by Nick Baumgartner, senior writer for The Athletic, who covers football, top prospects, NFL draft, the NFL, Lions a little, Michigan State a little. Nick, what essentially do you do now?
So Saturday, Graham, I think I watched, 9 or 10 games for real. I think it's a lot of what I'm doing is watching prospects and players and how the game of football changes sort of from the ground up. A lot of that is NFL draft related. A lot of that will be watching sort of scheme changes and different stuff, and just a lot of the stuff that I sort of, like to do that I guess is a little bit different, and I think we can do a lot more with it. So that's sort of what we're going to do. But I'm also going to keep, my toe in some of these other waters too, as best I can. It just won't be as much, I guess, as people are probably used to. But, I'll be around. Is what I tell people.
One of the things is I love about you is your path to get where you are now. Like I love guys you're Stringer, intern, Lansing State Journal,
yep.
Western Kentucky football beat writer at the Bowling Green
right.
Daily News, right? I mean that and then M Live covering Michigan Detroit Free Press as the Michigan beat writer, and then The Athletic is a senior writer. Before we get into the Michigan State, Michigan, and the Lions and everything, give me a sense of what building a career the way you have, doing those steps, the mid-major beat, the Stringer and all that comes with the high schools and all that, the big beat, and sort of being in different organizations with different priorities, lots of places with different new initiatives constantly. What has that done for you?
Oh, my God. I mean, it's a lot. I know you covered, the small schools and did the same, and there's not too many of us left, I don't think, that did it like this. But, it's weird to look back on the path, because I have younger writers that come up now, and I have for a long time, that have asked, what's your advice? And a lot of time I tell them, in recent years anyway, it had kind of been I don't know what to tell you, because my path is impossible. You can't do it anymore. The high schools and cobbling it together that way is gone. And, you mentioned, moving organizations and changing places that have different sort of mission statements and things of that nature. When I left newspapers, man, it was hard. It was really hard to do, but it was also one of those things where I was at in my life, I had no choice. I had to sort of move on and grow and do something different, or I knew it wasn't going to be good for me for a lot of different reasons. So it's been different, but I would say this: the one thing that I think I've appreciated about it is it's allowed me to change a lot. I've always been able to change pretty quickly, and I think anybody who grew up in the business the way that we did, and I say you did the same, Graham and Brendan, who I work with a lot, obviously was similar. The thing that we all have in common is we can change at the drop of a hat, because this thing has never been stable. It's always been different, and I can always appreciate people who understand that. So it's been a trip for sure.
We've been dancing around layoffs since we got into the business.
I mean, it's like every day. Yeah. I just don't think people understand it, except for people that live it. But yeah, I mean, it's literally for a long time. I
remember in Kalamazoo, somebody saying at one point, "Oh, we're lucky to have a job," and I was like, "Bullshit! They're lucky to have us."
Right? It's like,
come on, man.
Work, but all right, whatever. Yeah.
All right, let's talk some Michigan State here. I'm wondering your impressions of what you saw from them. Let's start with the positive things that you saw that you thought were really promising or positives on Friday night.
Well, the defense looks like it's what I thought it could be, right? I think that's and what a lot of people would say the same. I think that you looked at everybody that they brought back, plus the additions, and I wrote about this a little bit last week, and everybody knows this, but I've been so impressed with what Mel Tucker and the staff have done in the offseason, not just with the aggression in trying to do something different with the portal, but man, they really target areas that they have to get better in, and they get better. They're better in the middle. Defensively, I think they're as good or maybe better on the edges now in some of these cases. They're maybe deeper in some of these spots. I think they have more. Obviously, they've got more seasoning in the back end. So I really like where their defense is at a lot. And I actually thought it was interesting that when I watched back the first quarter, they were trying a lot of tempo stuff on offense. They were trying some different things, and some of it worked, some of it didn't. And when I look back at it, I was like, well, that's partially why they were stuck in the mud. Was because I think they were trying some things, knowing that their defense was going to be there to get them and pick them up, but also secure enough in where they were as a team that they could try some stuff. Maybe it fails, maybe it doesn't. That, to me, is a sign of growth, that we did not see from them in previous years. Every play was they had to have it on every single second that they were out there. Now, I think you can see more experimentation, more growth, and I think that speaks to the depth and everything else that they've sort of built there.
And it seems like they have, one of the things that stood out to me is they have a number of guys who can hurt you suddenly. They have a number of, and that has not been the case in that program necessarily. Now, last year, when that offense was at its peak with Naylor and Reed and Kenneth Walker, they had that a little bit. But going back really, half a dozen years, they haven't had that often. And and that changes you. It gives you something that when you don't have to drive 11 plays, when you don't have to be perfect, you can make up for it. I'm wondering if you think that is what they have there, though, is, obviously it was good enough to be big, quick strike against Western Michigan, and it obviously will be against Akron. But when they get to Washington, Minnesota, Ohio State, Wisconsin, are they what you see from that group in terms of big play offense, is that sustainable?
I think it is, because I think if you pick your spots and, you got it. One thing I did think, I thought they should stop rotating the line and sort of pick five and settle on it, because I think they have five guys that can sort of hang. But with that, you build your play action game and all the shot stuff. I was kind of joking to somebody after I got through maybe three-quarters of the game on the rewatch, and I was like, Peyton Thorne's check down at this point, when all things go to hell, is the shot back shoulder to Jaden Reed that works more than it doesn't. He has, if you put him, Coleman, and Bernard, when those latter two are developed, if you put all three of those guys out there together and let them go run around, I think that's pretty sustainable. If you have any decent semblance of a run game and you can go over the top like that, that's what I think they want to do. And they do have, especially with Reed and Thorne, the chemistry there is just lights out. It's as good as anything you'll see between two guys probably anywhere in the country at this level. So you add the other two guys in there, plus Carr, plus some other guys that are trying to get in the mix a little bit. I think it is sustainable. I think you have to pick your spots, and the quarterback has to be smart about when he does take the shot and when he doesn't. But you trust an older guy like that to be that person. And I think that's I think how they're going to try to play this season, I would imagine.
What, if anything, stood out that you went, that could be an issue, or they still need to prove that? So
to me, it's still what are you really doing with the line? I think the interior of their offensive line with Duplain, Samac, and Brian Green, the transfer, the sixth-year guy, that's a pretty good trio in there. And I think you can do a lot. You can run the football against a lot of teams with those three in there. Plus, if you want to, a guy like Spencer Brown, put him next to a really good guard like Duplain and let him grow, and then figure out what you're going to do with the left tackle and then go. But stop rotating the guards. Stop. I did not like that. I did not like to see, and I know it's only one game, and it's part of the experimentation and everything else, but if you get into Big Ten play, I'm going to get worried if J.D. Duplain's on the bench for any stretch of time. Like, he needs to be on, like, your best three linemen are those three inside. They need to be out there, I think, more than they're not. And I understood why they rotated a lot last year, because I wonder if they didn't think they had maybe five guys that were no doubt, these are Big Ten linemen, no question about it. I think they have that, or closer to that now, and I would probably settle more on five if I were them.
And for anybody who doesn't know, you are a noted and admitted offensive line enthusiast.
Yeah.
That is. I mean, yeah, right.
Yes.
All right, let's talk a little Michigan here, and so let's start with the quarterback thing. Obviously, it was a little awkward in the post game, but I don't know where this thing's going to wind up. It seems to be trending towards McCarthy. How important is it that they make the right decision here, and do you have a clear sense of who the right decision is?
Well, really important that they make the right call here because, look, we all saw what we saw on Saturday for McNamara. It wasn't scintillating, although I don't think it was as bad as maybe some people painted it, but it certainly wasn't terrific. And if McCarthy goes out there against similar competition and lights it up, and we all see it, and they come out and say something different, then the whole team is going to see that too. And that really, it's not, the thing the fans get always worked up about. It's like, well, you got to say this because it's what the team sees. They're the ones who see it. And when you play a guy who, if he's so much better and he's not playing still because you're worried, that can't happen. Cade McNamara was elected captain of the football team by his peers. And I think that, if he's been outplayed in these couple games and they start J.J. McCarthy, then he needs to be okay with it. And I think that needs to be what this sort of is. Now, the thing about where McNamara said that it took him by surprise and he didn't like this, that's a different conversation that, he and Jim Harbaugh and the rest of that's between them. Because that's the fascinating part about all this to me was sort of on the outside looking in was how is he going to tell these guys? What's he going to tell them? Is he going to tell them every week, like in warm-ups, you're starting, you're not? Like, what's going to happen here? And to me, I don't know if they had a lot of conversations about that leading up to that announcement, or if it was just, here's what we're doing, and everybody figure it out. It seems more like the latter might have been how it went, and I think a lot of guys are still trying to figure out what's going on. But, yeah, they need to get it right. It's a good problem to have if you can get it right, but you got to get it right first.
Anything else that's obviously you get an opponent who's got a million new players, changing coaches, and then this week another opponent who's not that competitive. But I'm just wondering, is there anything that you've been able to take from their play that you think this is true? I can see this.
Yeah, I do think that the offensive line again should be very good for them. I didn't see anything in the Colorado State game, especially the interior. They replaced the Stardust with the new center, Oluwatimi from Virginia, who's a really good player. And they didn't play without Ryan Hayes. They played without Ryan Hayes, who's one of their best linemen too. So one of the questions, although it wasn't a really big one for me, it was more, if they're going to be good, then this has to happen, and that is that the line has to be at least as good as it was last year with a chance to be better. And I think that's possible. I think they have 3 NFL players inside for sure, and I think Hayes is a 4th. So I think that they should be able to run the ball similarly, with similar effectiveness to where they did last year. But I guess I'll have to go prove it.
All right, let's move to the Lions here, and they're obviously a very likable team. That's what happens.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah, you got a charismatic coach who's relatable, and they came off well on Hard Knocks. I think everybody would say, and so they become sort of this darling underdog team to some degree. And what I still don't know is, and there's this claim that they're quite a bit better than a year ago, that they're cutting guys they relied on a year ago and all that stuff. And they've had one line injury now, but the offensive line still could be a good crew and all that. Does this feel like a good NFL team yet to you?
That's a great question, a great way to put it. It feels more like an NFL team to me, more like a competitive NFL team, I would say. And I can't stress that enough. Like last year's team at this point, in September 6th of last season, it didn't feel like an NFL team to me. It felt like a college team. It felt like a team that was walking into a fire that it wasn't ready to walk into. They felt light, like they weren't going to have enough talent. Like there were position battles last year that didn't exist. They just kept guys because nobody else sort of did anything to take the job. That's how bad it was. This feels more like a team that is going to go give everybody that's what we come to see from NFL teams. An average NFL team is one that can fight everybody, and on its best day and somebody else's worst, you steal a game. And I think that's what the Lions are going to be this year. I don't think they're a playoff team, but I think they're a lot better than what they were. And I think that if you're, sluggish or feeling some type of way about yourself in November and they're not, they're going to get you. Like those are the kind of games that I think they can win more of. A lot of those one-possession games that they lost last year, I think they can steal a few more. But the real question will be is how many more, and then what's Jared Goff's role in all that? Because if you want to talk about going to playoffs or not, that's the difference. If he takes another step and turns into the guy people think he can be, then we're having a different conversation. But we have to see that first.
Yeah, see, I'm nervous about that step. I'm nervous that he plays well enough that they keep him.
It's an interesting conversation. Yeah, it really is. Because, what does that mean, right? Like, how well is too well and how well is not good enough?
Right.
I don't know.
And the flip side of that is I don't mind if they just keep him if they're not committed to him. Like, there's an argument to be said that some of these quarterbacks, when you look at Mahomes and you look at, some of the top guys around the country or the NFL who have sat a year or two or had some time, it's really helped them, or it seemed to have helped them. They developed well. So there's an argument. I don't mind a guy being there and still, but I mind the commitment to him as the guy, and then all of a sudden what you don't want to ever be is a team that has the rest of your roster that's ready and you don't have that position.
Right, and that's the fear, is that he's going to flame out and there's just going to be nothing waiting, and that's why I think the argument continues to be made here, and it probably should have been done in the spring, is they need to invest in the draft in another quarterback. Like, whether that is a first-round pick or a guy that you like that you're going to – whatever that is, it needs to happen here. And I think that this backup quarterback derby that they just embarrassingly made us all watch during preseason, it speaks to that. There's no talent at the position, and I think a lot of that had to do with last year. You were more concerned about Goff's mental state than anything else. And I think as you go forward, a lot is going to fall on Jared Goff to really take a big leap, and if he doesn't, then this is another conversation. But also, it's up to the Lions to be honest about that.
Who's a player or position that you're sort of either curious or really just sort of compelling that you want to watch and see and has a chance to be something special?
Yeah, that's a great one. There's a lot of guys on defense. Nelson Rodriguez obviously is the one I think that everybody points to right now because he was such a character on Hard Knocks and he's been so good for them early. But him and Derek Barnes, I think maybe even more Derek Barnes, the linebacker that they took last year, he is one that actually I think he has more athletic ability than Malcolm. He's bigger and stronger. He just doesn't know the game as instinctually, as fast. Rodriguez is so good because he makes these reads. He doesn't flinch. It's all there. Barnes is an old running back that's still trying to pick up how to play linebacker, but he's perfect athletically for the modern game and everything else that they're going to ask the position. But it's also one of those things where, like, if you don't know what you're doing, none of that matters. So we have to see now from a guy like that and some of these other, like, they kept Ifeatu Melifonwu, the young safety. Like, if he gets healthy again, we're going to need to start to see more stuff from some of the young guys that they took last year that they've invested in. Otherwise, as I say a lot, they're going to have to get off the ride and somebody else is going to have to get on. Like, that's sort of how you have to go with this. And there's a couple guys in that second-year class right now that I think their seats aren't hot, but they're probably more warmer than they thought they would be at this point along the way.
For you, as a kind of football junkie, how badly are you waiting for this weekend, and how much even last weekend is it just do you salivate over it?
Well, last weekend was great, and this weekend obviously is much different and better for more reasons because we have Sunday and we have Thursday too, of course. But when it comes back, the first weekend that it finally comes back, not the week 0, but I guess last weekend would have been it, where you're just like, okay, feels more normal again to me, because we get so used to, my God, we talk all year about 12 games, 17 games, whatever it is. That's it. And we watch them over again and over again and over again, and then to have new stuff again it is a little bit like Christmas. Yeah,
that's always my concern. All my concern about shortening the game, like everybody, because sometimes when this game drags for 4 hours, and I'm like, but wait a sec, do we really want less? I don't know. Maybe we do want this. All I know is and I'm grateful not to be an Iowa beat writer right now, with 11 weeks ahead of that, and I'll just be glad. Nick, I appreciate it. Great chatting with you, man. We'll catch up soon.
Man. Anytime. You bet, Graham.
That's Nick Baumgartner, senior writer for The Athletic. You can read his work at The Athletic. I think you're very familiar with him. And that is our Hopcat interview of the week, presented by Hopcat. You can find one in East Lansing, Grand Rapids, Hopcats all throughout the state. And, we're going to do more with them on Sundays and Thursdays with giveaways and things like that as well. We'll be right back, and we'll chat a little bit, and we'll have Harry on and pick the games. Couch of the Rube, presented by Skymint Premium Cannabis and Front 43 and Cask & Company.
Hopcat exists at the intersection of great beer and delicious food, complemented by music, art, community, and comfort. Home to a best-in-class beer experience served by craft beer experts. Guests can expect a casual, inviting local gathering place with some of the best damn burgers and fries you'll find in Michigan. Hopcat is proud to be an official sponsor of Peyton Thorne. Show your Spartan pride by ordering the iconic Peyton Thorne burger, created by the man himself. There is no better place to watch any Michigan State game other than the 50-yard line at Spartan Stadium. Stop by any of our locations: East Lansing, Detroit, Grand Rapids, Ann Arbor, Kalamazoo, and Holland. To plan your next trip to Hopcat, visit hopcat.com. Come enjoy irresistible, award-winning, handcrafted donuts and locally roasted coffee at Groovy Donuts. Surprise your family or coworkers with special holiday designs and flavors, or put the perfect finishing touch on an event with a custom order. Birthdays, weddings, gender reveals, our friends at Groovy Donuts are your answer. Experience the Groovy Donuts difference for yourself on Lake Lansing Road in East Lansing or in Williamston. Get more information or place an order at groovydonuts.com. If you're looking for a relaxed vibe, great food, and an outstanding beer selection, Midtown Brewing Company in downtown Lansing is your place. Enjoy their famed chicken and waffle fries, fish and chips, or any of their delicious burgers or salads. Midtown Brewing Company also offers 40-plus beers on tap, including ciders and seasonal offerings and daily happy hour specials. The spacious and cozy vibe makes Midtown Brewing Company a perfect place for a beer with a friend, a work lunch, or to watch the games on its big screen TVs. If you'd rather eat at home, Midtown Brewing Company offers a terrific carry-out menu and free delivery on orders of $20 or more. Visit MidtownBrewingCompany.net or stop by 402 South Washington in downtown Lansing for the Midtown Brewing Company experience.
Find our live stream, podcast archives, as well as show, affiliate, and sponsorship information at our website, SpotlightMediaStudios.com.
Couch in the Rube, presented by Skymint Premium Cannabis, inspiring people to do better, look better, love better, feel better every damn day of their lives. Go to skymint.com for location information and daily specials. Great stuff going on all the time. And you can always use the Couch in the Rube, if it's your first time, I should say. Use the Couch in the Rube promo code, Couch and Rube 20 for 20% off. And our Tuesday night show, brought to you by our friends at Front 43 and Cask & Company. And they've got MSU Game Day Specials. One of the cool things, if you're looking for a place to go for an MSU game, if you're not going to be at the Akron game or when they play Washington, Game Day Specials, $4.50 pints of Bell's, Ellison, Founders and Shorts, $5 mugs, a Miller Lite, Bud Light, Labatt, Spartan burgers for $14, Spartan fries, $11. That burger comes with more. The MSU sushi roll, $12. The Spartan roll, $13. Fantastic stuff with MSU Game Day Specials. That's football and basketball season at Front 43 Neighborhood Pub and Cask & Company Kitchen and Bar. Jason, anything you
Man,
you
what
took?
a live read.
Thank you.
Jeez.
Anything
Impressive.
you took from the
Boy, you and Nick Baumgartner just 69. I mean, that was next level. I figured that's why you went right to break, because you were so exhausted, you had to wipe your face down.
Thank you.
Nick, tell us about how hard it is to be a writer.
I just
Start from the low ends of it.
I appreciate guys who've taken his path and done
I honestly,
like we
I
did.
find it interesting. I really do. I was just busting your balls.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm intrigued by the Michigan quarterback situation. I think McNamara is more pissed that McCarthy's going to get all of those stats against Hawaii, right? I mean, are they going to hang 70? I know we're going to talk about this game, but I would be more pissed at that if I was Cade McNamara.
So that was the thing. We'll have to ask Harry about this in a few minutes. I was considering, do you tease it up, right? Do you tease?
What is it at now?
51.5. Oh. Do you tease it to like 58.5? Like, is that safe? Is there a certain point where they're just not going to do that to somebody?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't even know if I would mess with that game, especially teasing it up like that.
It's pretty.
I mean, Hawaii's ass, but
yeah,
could Michigan get bored?
It's brutal. Yeah, no, I'm curious to see what happens to them. I mean, that quarterback controversy has made that game interesting. That's totally.
But I don't know why people are surprised. Like McNamara was supposed to Tom Crawford broke the news of McNamara sitting there pissed off with his arms folded. It's like, well, yeah, like that's what a quarterback of a team would do. I wouldn't want to sit down ever if I was the starting quarterback of a university like Michigan. I mean, fuck.
I also thought the interesting thing he brought up on MSU's interior line and sort of the criticism of shuffling those guys around and how it doesn't help.
I like that you're fascinated that he likes offensive linemen.
Well, because I'm always – it's not that – no, I think – look, I understand it's an incredibly important part of the game.
The game starts up front.
No doubt.
Offensive and defensive line. I mean, come on now.
Xavier Henderson, who might be out for the year, is the one who said they'll go as far as the offensive line can take them. He didn't say as far as I can take them. It was the offensive line. So, everybody gets that. I just think it's for – they're not the – I don't want to say it's the least interesting position because that's not true. I find some of that interesting. Well, punters, but Michigan State has an interesting punter now. Bryce Behringer's
well, I'm saying over the offensive line. I mean, you can I find it interesting, but they're supposed to do their job. It's not flashy. So
put it this way: readership trends over the years tell us that people don't read about offensive linemen.
Nick Baumgartner, one read. So you have him.
He will be there reading it, double clicking. Wins that next story on the offensive line. All right, do you want to get Harry on, and we'll go ahead and pick the games here presented by the Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app, which, by the way, I believe we are going to be at Firekeepers for a live show a week from Thursday. So that would be the 15th of September at Dacey's Sportsbook in Battle Creek at Firekeepers Casino. So if you want to join us Thursday night, the 15th, I believe it will probably be a 7 o'clock start. We'll do Twitter questions. We'll do some live stuff. It'll be fun. And be a good NFL game to bet on that night. So we will get in all that next Thursday at Dacey's Sportsbook.
We're doing that for real?
That's happening next Thursday, yeah.
All right.
At the Firekeepers Casino. And, of course, download the Firekeepers Casino and iCasino Sportsbook app and bet the games we bet with our guy Harry Gagnon from the Against All Odds podcast with Cousin Sal, bestbetcorner.com and extrapoints.com. The man himself. Harry, how you doing, man?
What's up, guys? How's everything?
Everyone's favorite Vikings fan. Big Kirk Cousins guy, this Harry. Jesus H, man. I see you guys did your Super Bowl picks today. And you had Vikings versus who?
Vikings to win over the Chargers.
Oh, my God. Does anyone believe in Kirk Cousins more than Harry right now, Graham?
I don't think anyone does. I don't think Vikings fans do.
You're right. You hear Vikings fans like, he's good.
He's
all right.
I'm grateful I got their season win over under at 8.5 before it went up because I feel good about that.
I remember that, Graham, when you mentioned that, and I was like, spot on. That was a beautiful call to get it at 8.5 because I like it over 9.5. I like them to get 11, but boy, 8.5 seems so good.
It takes because it's 9.5 now for most places from what I've seen. It's gone up a full point. This is a day we've been waiting for a long time because it's not just the college slate, it's the NFL slate, and you guys have also been up to some weird stuff over there at Against All Odds, you guys basically figured it out where if you bet 20,000, it gets you 260K if you bet the right Super Bowl matchup, correct?
Right. Well, Sal's one is that.
Okay.
Mine's a little bit more than that. I mean, his is what was his? It was
his is Packers Bills. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Boring.
Yeah,
but Sal has 20 grand. I mean, you could throw 20 grand wherever.
Sal's got it. I don't.
But I'll be honest, I like yours just as much. Vikings Chargers. What? And now that gets you. You don't even have to bet the 20 grand. You can bet like a quarter of that, a third, a tenth of that, and get the same payout.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You should turn into Jeff Bezos, Rich, if you get the Vikings right to win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I love you,
Well,
Harry, but I don't see it.
All right, let's go.
right.
Let's go through some games here. Let's work backwards. Let's do the NFL, then we'll get to the college games with Michigan State and Michigan and everybody. We'll start with this Thursday, the opener, Bills -2 at Rams. Bills have some guys are out. Everybody's real high on the Bills. That line has actually moved toward the Rams. I got a weird feeling here. I'm gonna take the home dog. Jason, where are you?
I'm going to admit that I have no idea, but I'm going to take the Bills -2. What do you got, Harry?
It is. It's a very tough game. I don't love how the Bills have shot up to 2. Some places 2.5. The road team did cover last year in the opening game where Dallas was getting 7.5 at Tampa, and they only lost by 2. Still, opening game, Stafford still a little dinged up with that elbow. Buffalo, I think, can't wait to explode after that KC playoff game. They've been counting down the days. I know the line's jumped up to the Bills, like I said, 2.5, but I'm going to ride with the Bills, and I think they get it done here in Game 1 against L.A.
All right, the next game, Steelers +6.5 at Bengals, and I put this in here because, and I understand, and it takes a while for me to remember the NFL isn't college. Like 6.5 is a big number in the NFL, but it's inside of a touchdown, and it's Mitch Trubisky and the Steelers, and it's a Bengals team that I think is still on the ascent here. I at home. Rivalry game. Give me the Bengals all day here, and I know the line's not going to be bigger than that. I get the line, so I don't think it's fishy or anything. I like the Bengals. Jason, where are you?
I'm with you. I think it's a solid number. I think I'm going to play that one. But, yeah, I'm not scared of Mitch Trubisky, right, Harry?
No, absolutely. I don't care. And I know it's Trubisky, but I don't care if it's Trubisky, if it was Pickett, if it was Rudolph, doesn't matter. Cincinnati ruled Pittsburgh both times they played last year. Najee Harris had a nice rookie season for Pittsburgh, but if you look at the numbers, Pittsburgh still wound up with the worst running attack in the NFL last year. Cincinnati's loaded on offense with 3 stud wide receivers. I think they get it done. They roll Pittsburgh again.
All right, 49ers is a 7-point favorite on the road at the Bears. It's a big number for the 49ers going with a quarterback that I don't know if he's any good. I don't think the Bears are quite as bad as everybody thinks. I know you're not a Justin Fields guy, so I think I know where you are on this. But I think 7's too much on the road. Give me the 7. And I know I just said well, actually I didn't say the opposite with the other one. We'll fix that in post.
Graham stoned.
I love it.
But give me the Bears and the points.
Yeah, in Eberflus we trust, right, Harry? Give me the 7 at home. I don't trust Trey Lance yet. What do you got?
I don't trust him either, no doubt about it. But San Fran did win in Chicago by 11 last year, but I just have no faith in Fields or their wide receivers. I'm taking the Niners.
Yeah, he does not like Fields. If Fields winds up being like the next great thing ever, it's going to be a tough one on Harry. The Eagles -4 at the Lions. Okay, so
here we go.
This is where, I mean, like the Eagles are also like this hot team that people think is going to be.
Do they have grit?
I don't necessarily believe in them yet. I don't necessarily believe in their quarterback situation. Jalen Hurts.
Let me add something, guys. I'm just letting you know. Like, I know we just went over my Super Bowl prediction of Minnesota beating the Chargers in the Super Bowl. But I do, in my NFC Championship game, I've got Minnesota beating the Eagles.
All right. So I know where you kind of stand here. Mm-hmm. I think that's a give me. Maybe I'm just buying into the Hard Knocks. Maybe I'm buying in. I think the Lions will play well. I don't think the Eagles are going to run away from you right now. Give me the Lions.
Do it, Couch.
I took the Lions. Taking the Lions.
Jesus.
Taking the Lions +4. Where are you,
Listen,
Jason?
Gut feel. I'm still dead inside till I see it on the field. The Eagles have the best offensive line in NFL. In the NFL. So give me the Eagles -4. I hope I'm wrong. Harry, what do you got?
Yeah, you're right. Great offensive line. They were number 1 rushing the ball last year. Philadelphia's easiest win last year by far was the game in Detroit where they won by 38. I like Jalen Hurts. A lot of people don't. A lot of people don't trust him. I like him. I love I think he makes great decisions on when to run. And now, with A.J. Brown from Tennessee and Devontae Smith, who had 900 yards last year, the most by a wide receiver for Philadelphia since like 2017, that's a tremendous 1-2 combo they've got at wide receiver they haven't had in years. I like Philadelphia here, and I like them big.
Oh, like them big. That's
disheartening.
Okay. Well, Chiefs -6 at the Cardinals. We used to have a rule that if the Chiefs were inside a touchdown, you just took them. I think the Chiefs are going to be like, I love the Chiefs over, 10.5 wins this year. I love the over. I think this is a year where Patrick Mahomes, and they'll be looking to prove that the receiver thing didn't matter. Look, if you look at the number of free agent receivers who went somewhere and mattered, very few of them have done anything.
Yeah, but not many are Tyreek Hill, though.
That's fair. That's fair. To me, though, I think the Chiefs are going to be really, really good this year. However, the Cardinals, I don't think are a bad team, and 6 points is a lot on the road. The Chiefs make me nervous. I'm taking the Chiefs, but I'm staying away from this game. Jason, where are you?
I thought you were going all Mike Francesa on us there for a second. I trust. Weren't the Chiefs bad against the spread last year?
They were. They had a horrible year against the spread.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're spiting bet. Give me the home dog. Give me the +6 in the Cards. What do you got, Harry?
Yeah, I'm on. I think again, I've reiterated this to you guys, and I'm against all odds as well. Losing Hill is really going to hurt. I'd love to see if Andy Reid, if Kelsey's getting double teamed and they're not getting him the ball because no one else is providing any offense in terms of the wide receiver position. Love to see what Andy Reid's got for answers here if this situation happens. And we also know that Arizona, past couple of years with Kyler Murray, start very good in September and October. They started the season 7-0 last year. He looked great. He was an MVP candidate for the first 6-7 weeks of the season. So at home with a chunk like this in week 1, give me the Cards as well.
All right, Packers -1.5 at the Vikings. I think we know where we're here with Harry. Harry's not going to have his clothes on for this game, but I tend to be with you, and I'll go with the home side. I think that's one of the great home field advantages in the NFL. I think the Packers are going to take a minute to figure it out. We saw last year how bad it was early. I don't know that it'll be the same, but give me the Vikings. I actually like the Vikings a lot here. Jason, where are you?
Well, now, Harry's not saying that they're going to go undefeated for the season, so he might like the Packers here. You never know. But I like Aaron Rodgers and the Packers. The 1.5, it doesn't really scare me. What do you got, Harry?
Well, I am going to go with the Vikings. You guys know how I feel about Cousins and Jefferson. Adams is going to hurt. It's going to hurt leaving Green Bay, going to Las Vegas. And you mentioned, Jay, that you're not sure. You don't see it out in Minnesota, but of where it's going to come from. But defensively, they are much better. Daniil Hunter, 2018, 2019, had 14.5 sacks both those years. Then he got hurt. So now he's back and he's healthy. And Zadarius Smith coming over from Green Bay. He didn't play much last year either, but the 2 seasons before that in Green Bay had 26 sacks over those 2 years. I think those two guys are going to make a huge impact on this defense. And with the offense the way it is in Minnesota, at home, week 1, go Vikings.
Bucks -2.5 at the Cowboys. I don't know that the Cowboys are going to be great this year. I think they might have some troubles up front, and they had a defense that was known for takeaways last year, and we'll see if that translates and all that stuff. And I've heard those arguments. However, I am also a believer if your team doesn't feel like it's all in training camp, it's usually not all in. And I do not think this is going to be an amazing year for the Bucks. It's in Dallas. Give me the Cowboys as a home dog. Jason, where are you?
See, I'm on the opposite of this one. I think the line is perfect for -2.5. Tom Brady going in there. I understand it's going to be big at Jerry Dome, but give me the Bucks -2.5. What do you got here?
Yeah, that makes. I hear you on that. That could definitely play out that way, Jay. By the way, guys, also starting this Sunday, we are the guys at Against All Odds with Cousin Sal. We're going to be doing a live Spotify show during an hour show during the Tampa Bay Dallas game on Sunday night. So that should be fun. So check out where you get all your podcasts on Spotify. We'll be on live during that game, going over the day's events, going over, Cousin Sal and Parlay Kid are both Dallas fans, so I'll be giving them crap about that. So, but I actually do kind of like Dallas just a tiny bit here. Maybe Tampa does have some still O-line issues. I mentioned they should have beaten Tampa Bay last year as a 7.5-point dog when they opened the season. Now Dallas is home. That was in Tampa. I know 2.5 seems fishy here. I'd probably want to buy it to 3 just to be safe in case Tampa pulls it out late by field goal. But I'm going to take a shot with the Cowboys.
Graham, did Harry do a live read
in
between picks? That was amazing.
Yeah, he's a pro. Yeah. The Monday night game, Broncos, Russell Wilson headed home to the Seahawks. minus 6.5, another 6.5 road favorite, which is you don't see these all that often in the NFL, and there are several of them this first week.
Definitely not in week 1, right?
No, and I think it speaks to the expectations for a couple of these teams. One is that the Seahawks are really going to struggle. The Broncos are going to be really good. I just think the Broncos roster is more than a touchdown better than the Seahawks. It's an interesting game with him going back right away and what that reception will be like and what the Seahawks are going to be. But I think the Seahawks are starting over. Give me the Broncos inside a touchdown.
I mean, is Geno Smith starting? Is that what we're saying here?
I believe so.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
Under a touchdown, I like the Broncos. What do you got, Harry?
I do like. I want to give the NFL credit for making this game the Monday night game, because if Seattle's as bad as we think they're going to be, this game loses a lot of flavor if it's down the road and Denver's 7-1 and Seattle's 1-7. So starting this game on a Monday night is clutch, I think. And I think Seattle, even how bad everyone's predicting them to be, which includes myself, I think they show up on Monday night. I think Pete Carroll has his team ready, and I think this game is a lot closer than people think. I think it's close the entire way, but Denver pulls it out late but doesn't cover.
Okay. Well, yeah.
Pete Carroll's going to have his guys ready.
And all I just have to remind myself
Geno
is,
Smith.
based on how I did in college week 1, I need to just stay the hell away from the NFL week 1. I need to just keep telling myself, keep betting the Premier League. And I have a couple bets coming up here that are going to make you some money, just like I have not been doing to this point. All right, the college games. We got 4 games I want to go over here. Let's start with Alabama minus 20 at Texas. It's Texas for real. Quinn Ewers, all that jazz. I know it's a road game, right, for Bama. This is a true road game, from what I understand. And give me Bama though. I'm not going to not take Bama.
Yeah.
I know it's on the road. It's inside 3 touchdowns. Where are you, Jason?
I came at the King, Georgia, last week with that spread 17. Oregon, Harry, I don't know. I want to lean toward Texas. I see it 20 and a hook in some books, but I can't. No, give me Bama minus the 20.5. What do you got?
Yeah, I don't know if believe me, I don't like Saban at all, but I think I'm wondering though if he lays low a little bit on his ex-offensive coordinator when Steve Sarkisian was at Alabama a few years back. Bama called off the Dogs early last week, early in the third quarter when they're up 55-0 on Utah State. Didn't score the rest of the game. But boy, it's got to win by 21 here to cover. I just don't. I've never been a fan of this Texas team. I don't think Sarkisian knows how to spell the word defense. I'm going to go with Alabama. Their offense and Bryce Young, too good.
Okay, so and here's the other thing. I mean, did you see what Saban said this week? So somebody asked him, do you worry at all about all these former coaches and coordinators coaching elsewhere who know you too well? And he said, yeah, but we know them. Like it was like the ultimate just slam put down. Like, oh, okay. I am Bama on this one. All right. The game of most local interest and national interest, Akron plus 34 at Michigan State. There are ways Akron can cover this game. Mm-hmm. One is if Michigan State is just sloppy, but more often is if it's backdoor. We've seen this game where this game is 42-3, and then it's call the guys out.
You guys must have heard it from a lot of your callers and listeners. Where last week you're like, hey, I bet Michigan State, and at some places you may have gotten a push when Michigan State looked like they were going to cover that game easy last week, and they end up winning by 22, which you may have covered, you may not have covered, and you may have pushed.
Yeah, well, but the difference is Akron is not Western. Like, this is a really bad team. This is a bottom 5 team, I think, in college football, whereas Western is, probably around 80. I mean, Western's Western's an upper tier, mid-major team, and so that's it's just going to be. My sense of it is it's going to be very different. The thing that can happen is if it's 42-3 and you're not playing your starters in the fourth quarter, it can wind up being 42-10 and you don't cover, and it's the same game really. That's the only way it doesn't happen. But you're certainly, to me, not taking the Zips. You'd be insane to take the Zips. I say that before I get your predictions, but I would tell people to take Michigan State here and get it. If you get in a teaser below 4 touchdowns, I would really love that. Like a 7-point teaser to 27, I think would be outstanding. Jason, where are you?
Listen, I'm not going to be long-winded about this.
Nor am I.
Akron had to go to overtime against St. fucking Francis. if Michigan State can't beat them by 34, I don't know what we're doing here. Give me Michigan State heavy. What do you got, Harry?
Yeah, Thorne had an excellent game last week. And you mentioned, beating St. Francis of Pennsylvania. I don't even know, is that one AA? Is that Division II? I don't even know what that is.
Minus 2 AA batteries.
Yeah,
I don't know.
So and they were losing most of the game too, and had to, like you said, struggle to pull it out in overtime.
It's sad that you know that, by the way.
Oh, I know. Sick. Believe me.
Like, I see the score 30-23. I have no idea what happened in the game. Harry can break it down for you.
Oh, at the end of when we do the last couple of games, I got a quick story to tell Graham. I know you know it, Jay, probably, but I got to tell Graham something real quick.
All right, so you're on MSU as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so Iowa State plus 3.5 at Iowa. I love that Iowa is still a 3.5-point favorite when I don't know if they can score 3.5 points, and I am not. And Iowa State is fired up for this game. I know it's in Kinnick, and I know there's going to be an overreaction here, and Iowa's going to put up 25 points, and it's going to look a whole lot different. Games don't go week to week. But I'm sorry, if you give me 3.5 points against this Iowa team right now with Iowa State, I am on it, and I like this. I might buy the half point, but give me Iowa State. Where are you, Jason?
I'm with you. Exactly what you said. Give me the 3 and a hook. What do you got, Harry?
Yeah, I am too. No Hall for the Cyclones, no Purdy, but I'll tell you what, Iowa, despite probably leading the nation in safeties with 2, they got 7 points last week, 2 safeties and a field goal. Petrus, their quarterback, is no good. I'm taking the Cyclones as well.
And the over-under is 41. It's an intriguing over-under, too, I think, as well. All right, last college football game, Hawaii plus 51.5 at Michigan. I'm not taking Hawaii. I wouldn't take Michigan either. That's just a lot of points because you have to be focused on beating somebody badly. Like, you can hammer somebody and not beat them by 51. I'm curious. I'm curious about Harry's input on teasing Hawaii up to make it like 58.5. If that's like too many points for somebody to cover.
So you're not going to make a pick?
No, give me Michigan. I think it's gonna. I think JJ is going to come out and try and make a point.
What are you guys, boys now? JJ? Listen, I don't know. I know this Hawaii team's complete ass. I just don't know if Michigan's going to have enough time to score that many points, right? I don't think Hawaii's going to put up 20 by any means. I just think Michigan doesn't have enough time to score that many. Give me Hawaii and the points. What do you got, Harry?
Yeah, it's interesting. Harbaugh going, McNamara played well last week, but now he's going to go with McCarthy to start. But, it's interesting how many Michigan puts up without where Harbaugh, calls off the dogs. But still, this Hawaii defense is horrendous. This team is bad. 2 weeks, they played Vanderbilt and Western Kentucky at home and been outscored 112-27. If Michigan puts up 63 and you give Hawaii a touchdown, you still get the cover with the Wolverines. I'm on Michigan.
All right, so that's yeah.
I mean, if you're Hawaii, you just come into town and go right to Sky Mint. You go to Ann Arbor, you go to that Sky Mint, you get stoned out of your brains, and get beat 55-0.
And take the check and right. head on back. Yeah. I'm with you. All right, Harry, what's the story before I do these Premier League games?
Well, real quick, here in Arizona where I live, you can Caesars has all these sports books have the promotions, and Caesars has here $1,250 promotion. Like if you put in $1,250, your first bet is if you win, you get the money. If you lose, then you get another $1,250 bet to try to recover. Okay. And this past week, I did that with I put $1,250, and I know on last week's show I gave up my best bet, which was Texas San Antonio plus the 4.5 against Houston. But of course, Graham, I didn't bet it because I was with my wife. We're going to a party. I didn't bet it, so I'm going to bet in game. So I bet in game when we get to my friend's my wife's friend's party, and I'm looking, and I know the line was 4.5, but now it's down to 3.5 on that game, and I really like Texas San Antonio. But the money line was only plus 150, but now at only 3.5, I saw the money line was plus 185. So what do I do? Like a true degenerate, I put my $1,250 on not the 3.5 points, but I take it on the plus 185 money line. At 7-7, start of the second quarter, I get 2 touchdowns right off the bat. I'm up 21-7. A buddy of mine, total jinx move, texts me and says, Texas San Antonio is looking great. And then no more than in 2.5 minutes of game time, Houston scores 2 touchdowns. So now it's 21-all. And then, needless to say, make a long story short, I end up losing in triple overtime when you have to go for 2 I lose 37-35. So if I took the 3.5 points, I would have won. But instead, I went money line at plus 185 for $1,250, and I lost. So I was getting back $3,600. Instead, I got nothing. So now I got $1,250 still to bet on somebody, and I'm trying to figure out who. I almost pushed it on Sunday night by taking the +4 with Florida State over LSU. I didn't do it. So now I got to think this weekend. I got $1,250, so I'm back in business if I win. If I lose, I'm out and I'm done. Who do I put it on?
All right, I don't think MSU is a bad play. But let me give you a couple here. All right, this weekend, Premier League bets. Brighton -131 at Bournemouth. Eventually, you got to trust what a team is, and Brighton is playing as well as anybody. I know Bournemouth won against the Nottingham Forest last week. They're not good. Give me Brighton -131 at Bournemouth. Crystal Palace is +240 at home against Man U, and Man U is playing well, but I like Palace a lot. I don't really understand all of this, and maybe Crystal Palace on the road. That doesn't actually make sense a lot, but I think those are even teams at +240. I take it, or take them on the goal line, and if you parlay those two, 100 pays 500. So there's that. So 12. Can you use parlays with this bet?
I can't do parlays. Got to do straight bets.
I would go Brighton, Bournemouth.
Brighton.
Brighton -31 at Bournemouth would be my. And then for people who can do parlays, a money line parlay with two favorites that pays out pretty well. Arsenal at home -306 against Everton, and Man City at home -279 against Tottenham. 100 pays 170. I love that bet. That's my give of the week. That's my favorite one.
But Brighton's your best.
Of a single bet, Brighton is it.
Single bet, Brighton. I will say this, Graham. Last week, messing around, dinking and dunking on parlays. I didn't bet any English Premier League, but I was. I know Jason doesn't care, but I was 5 for 5 last week in MLS.
See that? I mean,
5 for 5 in MLS.
I had a great Sunday comeback. I had a rough week, and then I had Man U, basically a pick 'em with, or I think it was +150 against Arsenal, and Brighton of a -120 to win, and I forget who the hell they beat. They beat Leicester City. Parlay paid out very, very nicely, and pretty much won back my atrocious college football.
Can I give my parlay now? Are you guys done?
We have definitely ruined the last 5 minutes, 6 minutes of Jason's life that he's never going to get back.
I have no enthusiasm left in my parlay. Are we doing parlays now?
What is your?
Still doing the same show as last year?
Do your parlay.
Let's hear it.
Jesus H, you guys with soccer.
5 for 5 in Major League Soccer, baby.
Pittsburgh, Tennessee. I have some stats that I copy and pasted. Both teams will have equal rest after their victories last Thursday, and Pitt will be looking to move to 4-0 all-time versus the Vols. Does that mean anything? Absolutely not. But give me Pittsburgh +7 at home. Next, South Carolina, Arkansas. South Carolina beat Georgia State, but the Gamecocks special teams scored 22 of their 35 points. Another copy and pasted stat. If Arkansas can get Spencer Rattler to run, they will force turnovers and get the win. That was from me. South Carolina is weak on the right side of their offensive line. I didn't make that up. I actually read it. Give me the Hogs -8.5. And where are we going here? Shit, I lost my last pick. Oh, excuse me. Nebraska, Georgia Southern. How could I forget this game? Georgia Southern +23. The Eagles quarterback Kyle Ventrese threw for 367 yards and 4 touchdowns versus Morgan State. I know it's Morgan State, but I don't care who you do that against. That's impressive. Oh, and it's fucking Nebraska, who just notched their first victory in nearly a full calendar year on Saturday versus North Dakota. Nebraska wins, but too many points. Give me the 23. And that's my parlay.
It's good. I like it. I like it.
I mean, 8.5. 8.5's a tad heavy for me, but I like the way Arkansas played against it.
That makes sense. And it's a good buddy of mine actually sent me a message today. I asked him who he liked, and I forgot. He gave me one pick. Give me 2 picks. One of them I don't remember, and the other one of all teams, he gave me Georgia Southern.
But
I will say this: you do like Pitt, you're going against one of my best sleepers this year in Tennessee. Hendon Hooker, who I gave out for Heisman, looked fantastic. I know that was, just a tune-up, but still had 4 touchdowns, looked fantastic.
I'm just saying +7, Harry.
No Kenny Pickett. I don't like Slovis at Pitt. I don't think he did a great job the other day. It was the team that really rallied, not so much him. That's your one loser right there, Jay, is Pittsburgh.
Listen, I'm saying Pittsburgh +7. I don't know if they win the game, but I think they keep it close. So that's
okay.
I can understand.
Harry, we appreciate you. We appreciate all the time you gave. Hopefully we'll make a lot of money this weekend. Look forward to doing it next week, man.
Thanks, Harry.
Love it, guys. Let's hit something.
That's the great Harry Gagnon from Against All Odds with Cousin Sal, Best Bet Corner, and ExtraPoint.com.
I like when you guys go first with your soccer boring shit, and like I come in like a wrestler with my theme music. Stone Cold Steve Austin.
We appreciate Firekeepers iCasino and Sportsbook app. And we'll be at Firekeepers Casino and Daisy Sportsbook out there at Firekeepers in Battle Creek next Thursday, September 15th. We appreciate all of you listening and supporting our sponsors, including Skymint. Go to skymint.com for location information and specials. And Front 43 and Cask & Company. If you're looking for a place to watch the MSU game, great spot to do so. You can also support us now on Patreon, patreon.com/couchandtherube. We'll be back Thursday night with the Groovy Donut Twitter question show. Good show, man.
Yeah, man.
Couch in the Rube.